This is the Panasonic RF-D15, a portable DAB, DAB+, FM radio with Bluetooth. It features a single speaker and a colour display on the front with all of the controls on the top. In the plain cardboard box are the radio, a power adapter and a printed instruction manual. Setting up the radio is easy and the process is typical for a portable digital radio, with the radio scanning for digital stations when switched on for the first time. Reception is good with the expected digital radio stations found, in addition to some not predicted to be available here, for a total of 110 stations. A scan on the FM band is completed quickly with all the normally available stations saved in a list. On the front of the Panasonic radio we have the metal speaker grille, we have the 2.4-inch colour display and this nice contrast with the Panasonic logo on it. There's nothing on the left side of the radio, and on the right we've just got that DC power input. On the top there are the controls. We'll have a proper look at those in a minute, but we've got sort of these slightly rubberized buttons, the on-off button on the left there, and then the volume control, rotary control there, and you can see the telescopic aerial on the back. So let's take a look through the controls on the top of the radio, starting with the power button on the end here. Has a little dot on there to help you feel where that button is. And then we have a dedicated DAB and FM button and a dedicated Bluetooth button. So that's pretty convenient for switching between those modes. And then we have a menu button, and if that's held down we can toggle through information on the display, and 4 dedicated preset buttons. For the menu there is back and enter, and that doubles up as backwards and forwards for Bluetooth playback. There's then tune minus and tune plus, so these are the buttons that are used when you navigate through radio stations, going up and down that station list in the DAB mode, so I guess we'll be using those quite a bit. That dedicated Bluetooth button, that can be held down to enter the pairing mode, or just pressed for play and pause for your Bluetooth device. There's a favourites button and dedicated scan button for starting a scan of stations. The buttons feel quite nice, they have a rubberized texture to them just slightly, and the clicky feedback is good, so those are all pretty nice to use. There's a volume control on the end. This is a rotary control, and you can really feel the steps as you go up and down each increment in the volume. You can really feel that, and that's quite nice to use as well. There's a 2-inch full-range speaker behind the silver speaker grille on the front of the radio. Audio output power is listed as 3 watts RMS when plugged into the mains, and 1 watt RMS on battery power. There's no headphone output and no EQ settings. You can save presets in the DAB and FM modes, so if you wanted to save Absolute Radio as preset number 3 for example, we can hold down button 3 and that gets saved there. And if we find a different station like Radio 1, we'll save that in preset slot number 1, press and hold down. And then if we want to set just one more, as an example, we will find 5 Live, and let's say we want to put that in at number 5. So that's not going to be a dedicated button. We can hold down the presets button and we can come down to number 5 and press enter, and that is stored in there. So the direct access for those preset buttons on the top, and then if we want to open up the list, press the star button for the full list. So let's come out of that. Things are a bit different on FM, so we will find a different station to save on FM. Let's find Radio 2. So on 89 FM, that's Radio 2, and it has come up with the RDS station name. We can see that there at the top. If I save that as preset number 2 on FM by holding down preset number 2, that's fine. But if I press the star button, you see it saved it there as 89.0, and we just have a list of frequencies. So that's a bit annoying. If you want to save your presets on FM, you sort of have to know what the frequencies are going to be. The tune minus, tune plus and enter buttons for changing digital radio stations took a little while to get used to as we reached for the previous and next track buttons. The front panel features a 2.4-inch colour display. The interface and layout is fairly typical of radios using the 2.4-inch display, although the font Panasonic have chosen to use isn't the easiest to read. While it makes the radio feel more like a Panasonic product, it's not quite as legible and easy to read as the font used by Pure or Roberts. In the standby mode, the time is large and clear with the day and date above. A sleep timer is included with durations of 30, 60, 90 and 120 minutes. 2 alarms are available with options to wake up to a buzzer, FM or DAB or DAB Plus radio. The alarm settings further provide for waking up to the last listen station or a preset, with cycle options meaning different alarms can be set for weekdays and weekends. 4 AA batteries go in the compartment on the back of the radio. Panasonic say in the manual to use alkaline or manganese batteries. Text above the battery compartment goes further and says do not use a rechargeable battery. Battery life in the Bluetooth and FM DAB modes is given as approximately 8 hours in the specifications. When other DAB radios do support the use of rechargeable AA batteries, or can be powered with rechargeable battery packs or internal batteries, this does feel like a bit of an oversight. It's good to have the option of battery power, but this radio is probably better where mains electricity is the normal power source. I've been listening to music now on the Panasonic radio in this kitchen for a couple of weeks, and I think the overall sound quality is good. There's plenty of volume. I've only needed to turn it up to about 8, I think, on the volume scale, which from memory goes all the way up to 30, and that is more than enough to fill this kitchen and still hear the radio in other rooms, so that's been fine. I think that when you're doing things in the kitchen, you've got the radio turned up, it is quite good. There's a little bit more clarity, a bit more bass than you would expect. It's like when you see those really tiny Bluetooth speakers and they're really loud and you think, well, how have they managed that? It's pretty surprising in some ways. In my experience, when you take the radio into another room, if you take it to a bedroom or a study, maybe so you can listen to it while you're doing work or your hobbies, something like that, then that's when you start to notice things about the songs. And in my experience, I found that some songs sound as if the music is pumping, or there's like a pulsing to the music that's not quite there in the original song, as if there's some sort of EQ or loudness mode or processing being applied on the music, maybe to give the radio a bit more presence. So there's no EQ settings. We've looked at radios in the past which have even basic settings for loudness, bass, treble, things like that, but that's not available here, and I wish it was. I would really like to be able to customise the sound on those music stations, just dial it back a bit, see if I can get it to be a little bit more neutral, a bit flatter. That would be my preference here. Having said that, if you look at the customer reviews online for the radio, people seem to be quite happy with the sound quality as it is, so it could just be a personal preference. But I think overall the sound quality is good. I just wish there was a bit more control when you're listening at lower levels and paying a bit more attention to the music. Speech radio like news, sport commentaries and phone-ins sound fine. We use the radio in a kitchen to listen to many hours of tennis, cricket and Formula 1 coverage. As we saw earlier, there is a dedicated button on the top for Bluetooth, and we can press that just once to go into the Bluetooth mode. I've already paired the phone with the radio, and you do get a little sound effect like that to let you know you have connected your phone, and there's another one when you disconnect. So we can press the button once more to start playing music from the device, and that's going now on the phone, and then we can turn that up. I have to turn it up quite a way. A 1-year manufacturer warranty is supplied with the radio, and Panasonic lists a support phone number and a postal address alongside web chat on its website. Just a little quirk of the radio: if you like to switch off your appliances at night or when you go out and then come back to the radio, it will remember the station you were tuned into but not the volume. So when I switched it off, it was set to 5 live and the volume was set to 3. I'll switch it back on at the wall. We can see the radio coming back on there. And then when I switch it on at the power switch, we are back on 5 live, but the volume is going to be quite high.
It's been fascinating talking to you. Thanks so much for joining us on 5 Live.
Pleasure to be with you.
And then you have to turn it back down. So 3 or 4 is fine in this kitchen for listening to a speech program like 5 Live. But if you're doing that every day, that is going to be a bit annoying. You're going to get a loud blast of music or whatever was on the station you were listening to last, and you have to turn it back down. Thank you very much for watching this review. You can see more details on our website through the link below, and if you'd like to see more reviews of digital radios when they're uploaded, please click subscribe.